That's not slow, yeah, everybody boom. Coming back around with a zoom, zoom, zoom.
Start it up.
Requires a lot of tasting, which is a tough job.
That's not slow, yeah, everybody boom. Coming back around with a zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah, that's not slow, yeah, everybody boom. Coming back around with a zoom, zoom, zoom.
Red light, green light, go. Everybody know that we run the show. Yeah, we.
Totally in love with my babe.
Yeah. Turn up on the roll. Everybody feeling that we got that flow. Yeah, we. Yeah, we. Yeah.
A wise man once said, started from the bottom, now we're here.
Start it.
The entire family, led by Alan, has played an integral part in creating Silver Belly.
That's not slow, yeah, everybody boom. Coming back around with a zoom, zoom, zoom. That's not slow, yeah, everybody boom. Coming back around with a zoom, zoom, zoom.
And that is two champions. May we know them and may we beat them.
That's not slow, yeah, everybody zoom.
Start it up.
Good afternoon. My name is Francis Creighton, and I'm the president and CEO of the Wine and Spirits Wholesalers of America. I'm here today to welcome you to the first round of this year's WSWA Brand Battle Tournament. This is the alcohol industry's premier pitch competition. For the next 4 weeks, we'll be here Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, where you'll see and hear from some of the industry's hottest wine and spirits brands, battling it out category by category to compete in the 2023 Brand Battle Championship. This year's championship battle will be held in person for the first time in 4 years, on stage at Access Live in April. With the who's who from the industry in attendance, a panel of expert judges will crown the 2023 Brand Battle champion. Winners of previous brand battles have earned distribution partnerships and become some of the hottest brands in the United States wine and spirits marketplace. I'd like to recognize last year's winner, Hatton Smith of Campesino Rum, who also plays a valued role in our Access Craft initiative and has gone on to become a great partner to several distributors throughout the US and has a very bright future ahead of him. America's family-owned wine and spirits distributors are committed to delivering the brands consumers demand, including this consumer. The US alcohol marketplace is the safest, most diverse, and best regulated in the world, and we work closely with our industry partners to continue to lead innovative efforts that keep our industry moving forward. Now, before I turn it over to today's host, I want to recognize our industry partners in attendance. Our members' warehouse teams and truck drivers work around the clock to deliver innovative products like those you'll hear from today to America's favorite bars and restaurants. To our retail partners here today, we appreciate our partnership with you. For the craft brands in attendance, celebrating and supporting the work of your friends and colleagues competing in Brand Battle, we're thrilled that you're here. WSWA supports our industry's craft brands and hosts several of their representatives on WSWA's Access Craft Advisory Council, an initiative that provides free resources to craft brands seeking distribution partnerships, including webinars and the industry's first distribution playbook. I'm very excited to announce that the second edition of our Access Craft Distribution Playbook will be published next week. But getting back to why we're here today, this year's Brand Battle Tournament will showcase the most creative, innovative, and entrepreneurial personalities and products in our industry. To those who have applied, have been accepted, and are on the verge of a career-changing competition, we wish you all the best. On behalf of WSA and our members nationwide, we hope your brands find a place in the most dynamic, competitive, and successful alcohol marketplace in the world. All right, now I'd like to introduce Jonathan Pogash, our host for today's tournament. Jonathan is also known as the Cocktail Guru. He's one of the premier consultants and bartenders for restaurants and spirits companies. His signature cocktails can be seen and enjoyed in many of North America's most upscale cocktail lounges and restaurants. With about 20 years of experience in the industry, Jonathan shares his insights with the most influential publications from around the world and contributes his unique talents to morning television shows, digital outlets, national radio. He's all over the place. Jonathan has been involved with Brand Battle before, and we're lucky to have him as an industry influencer, entrepreneur, and restaurateur. joining us for this competition. Thank you, Jonathan, for leading us on this adventure, and I'll turn it over to you.
Wow, my pleasure, Francis. Thanks so much. Industry influencer. I don't know about that. I think I'm a little too old for that, but I digress. I'm thrilled to be your host today for the whiskey tournament and for the whiskey tournament next week. Wow, that is so exciting. I've been a long time friend and partner of WSWA and have always looked forward to Brand Battle. It really is a terrific opportunity to see, hear, and taste new brands on the forefront of growth and opportunity. Today, you will be hearing from 5 different vodka and gin companies who will spend a few minutes each presenting information about their products. After each presentation, the judges will have a few minutes to ask questions and provide feedback. I encourage all of you watching to add your own questions and thoughts right there in the chat box at the bottom of the screen. We will try to answer the best we can all of your questions that come through during the tournament. At the end of today's competition, we will announce our category winner from our judges' votes. The winner of today's tournament will move on to the championship brand battle live on stage in Orlando on April 3rd. Okay, let's get to it. I'd like to start off our competition by introducing our very esteemed panel of judges that we have with us today. Together, this group of wholesalers and retailers represent businesses varying in size from across the country and bring over 100 years, wow, of combined experience and expertise in the wine and spirits industry. These industry leaders are always looking for the next up-and-coming brand. First up, welcome our retailer judge, Alexa Delgado, an experienced beverage professional with expertise in luxury hospitality. Alexa has been part of opening teams for Michelin award-winning restaurants and was ranked a top 50 bartender in 2022. She is currently bar manager for Marriott's Lobby Lounge and Whisper Creek Kitchen. Welcome, Alexa. Next up, from Little Rock, Arkansas, we have Shell Cameron. Shell brings 2 decades experience in the wholesale alcohol industry to her role as general manager at Central Distributors, where she oversees pricing, promotion, and sales of spirits and wine for retail and restaurant accounts. Shell's upbringing in rural Arkansas with a background in food and art gives her a unique perspective on sales with an emphasis on hospitality. From Breakthrough Beverage, Missouri, we have Doug Nixon. Doug is the sales director of spirits. During his 29-year career, he has spent time dedicated to the development of portfolios in the on-premise sector and is now focused on the brand side as a sales director, responsible for all aspects of Breakthrough Beverage Missouri business in the on and off-premise, as well as a liaison for their key suppliers. Doug's true passion throughout his career has been an exploration of innovation, opening minds in pursuit of the next diamond in the rough. Simone Biaconcini joins us from RNDC. Simone is the VP of the Artisan Group, also known as TAG, from RNDC. Simone has been with RNDC for 25 years, where he began as a sales analyst and eventually worked in operations and other leadership roles, including area manager for the Gallo division and division manager for Brown-Forman division. Most recently, he was the vice president of sales in Kentucky. Simone now leads the Artisan Group for RNDC, taking RNDC's current best business practices across the country to create a consistent craft spirits portfolio strategy that is easy to navigate. Next up is Lacey Sadoff, 4th generation owner and president of Badger Liquor, the largest wine and spirits distributor in Wisconsin. Her drive for continuous improvement at every level has helped inspire growth and accountability throughout the company. Lacey is in her final year of Harvard Business School's Owner President Management Executive Program, and she continues to push learning and development initiatives within Badger Liquor. And from Southern Glazer's Wine and Spirits, we have Ray Lombard, who was recently promoted to the Executive Vice President and General Manager for Craft Spirits. Congrats! In his current role, Mr. Lombard drives the strategy for Southern Glazer's Craft Spirits portfolio. This includes overseeing the company's new craft spirits division across the country and leading all craft spirits sales and support functions as part of Southern Glazer's new SG Plus enhanced customer service, fine wine, and craft spirits strategy. In addition to these responsibilities, Mr. Lombard manages craft spirits supplier onboarding, contracts, management, marketing, and performance, and directs Southern Glazer's highly successful fleet advertising program. Wow. Definitely an esteemed judging panel. Thank you all for the participating judges for today's competition, and I really do look forward to hearing your feedback for the contenders and their products. Now, what everyone's been waiting for, let's get to the part where you all registered to see our contenders. This category received one of the largest number of entries and had a very, very competitive group of companies. We are super excited to hear from 5 unique companies who were selected to talk about their products, representing a wide variety of new brands. The brands we will hear from today are Gin, Harridan Paranormal Reserve Vodka, Mont Blanc Vodka, Botanicon Gin, Engine Gin. Now that we know the players, let's get started. Please welcome our first contender of this tournament, PJ Anderson from Champions Gin. PJ is an experienced finance and beverage industry CEO who finds alcohol brand building to be fun and intoxicating. Representing Golden Bay Distillery on the South Island of New Zealand, take it away, PJ. I'm JP, you're PJ.
Thank you so much for that, Jonathan. Good afternoon, champions. I'm here to introduce you to the Champions Gin story. I've intentionally addressed you as champions because every single one of you are champions in your own right. For each of you make a big impact in the lives of other people around you. That having been said, the Champions Gin story is actually not about you. It's about someone more important than that. It's about the person in your life who inspires you to be the best you can be. That person is your champion. Who is your champion? My champion was my dad. And whilst he's no longer with us, he still leads me every day. He taught me to treat everyone with respect, always do the right thing, never give up, and be a champion to others. When we do in-store tastings, we customize the bottle by allowing people to stick their champion on their bottle. As you can imagine, this is an interesting way to engage customers. Now I want to introduce you to the other person without whom Champions Gin wouldn't exist. And that's our champion distiller, Sue Benjamin, who you can see just over here, over my shoulder. She's the real star of the show. She's based in Golden Bay, New Zealand, and I'm looking forward to introducing you to her in the future, because I can assure you she's a lot more entertaining and a lot smarter than me. Sue started off a distinguished career as a chef. She's been working in the distillery for over 15 years. Superb palate. So she is the recipe creator, the distiller, and as I mentioned, the champion behind Champions Gin. In order to create Champions Gin as the world's easiest sipping gin, Sue uses the world's clearest spring water and 7 botanicals. She dialed down the juniper so as not to overpower one's palate. The 7 botanicals are juniper, coriander, cardamom, licorice, black pepper, almonds, and angelica. This delicate combination creates what many people call a dangerous gin. They call it dangerous because it's so easy to drink. Champions Gin has won numerous tasting awards around the world, including a double gold at CWSA, awards at San Francisco, London, Hong Kong, New York, amongst other prestigious competitions. The review, though, that we most like is from the Tasting Institute, and they said Champions Gin is a lovely floral gin with a solid, earthy herbal backbone that will be a handy choice for effortless cocktailing. That, in essence, is what we're trying to do. Finally, and in conclusion, like all of you here today, who are all champions and have a purpose in life, Champions Gin's purpose is to be a supporter and benefactor of the charity Laureus Sport for Good, of which Nelson Mandela was the original founding patron. Laureus Sport for Good uses sport to break down racial, gender, and sexuality barriers. Our big audacious goal is to be the 3rd largest benefactor after Mercedes and Richemont. We ask for your support in helping us champion this cause. So to conclude, champions, I'd like to propose a toast, which is called the Champions Gin Toast, which is 2 champions. May we know them and may we be them. Cheers.
Thanks, PJ. Full disclosure, I thought your master distiller was real back there, so I actually waved when you introduced her. But now let's bring back our panel of judges for some Q&A. Let's start with Doug from Breakthrough Beverage, Missouri. Doug, what are your questions or thoughts?
So PJ, cheers on just a fantastic product. When you said the perfect sipping gin, it's exactly what it is. This is something not to be touched by anything, mixer or anything. It is to just be enjoyed this way. So cheers to you and your team. My question is, with the popularity, obviously, of New Zealand wines, what type of New Zealand essence have you built into your product that we can build on in the States?
Sure. So what's very interesting about where the distillery is, we actually sit on the clearest spring water in the world, which is tested by NIWA. And what that does, it creates that viscosity in your mouth. So what we often do is we show our gin versus others, and it has a sort of a little bit of a wobbliness to it. And then, as you also highlight, New Zealand has really positioned themselves as some of the cleanest and greatest ingredients. Although a lot of the ingredients are not necessarily grown in the distillery, New Zealand, as you know, is a little bit too dry to have wheat, and this is a wheat-based spirit that we use.
Thanks, Jeff and PJ. Lacey, what are your thoughts?
Well, as a fellow gin drinker, I really appreciate, so cheers. My question for you is, we're all champions in our own way, but what exactly is your target demographic for the product?
So basically, you're right that it appeals to a very broad range of people, but what we've decided to do is try and bring it around where champions congregate in sporting places. So one of our ideas to launch is really focus on sports bars and to focus on sporting clubs. We got an early activation is going to be within golf courses, where we partnered up with a golf course charity. We'll be there tasting the product. And so bringing that concept of champions and sport, we believe we're going to build some good brand equity, and obviously giving back is obviously a key goal of what we're trying to get done.
Great. Thanks, PJ.
Thank you, Lacey.
Alexa, from a retailer perspective, what are your thoughts?
I know that we had mentioned that, this has the idea of cocktails in mind. Are you available right now in any on-premise locations? And if you are, how are they activating your brand within their cocktail menus?
Sure. And on-premise side, yes. So what we've done is generally we're doing cocktails which try and tie in the champions spirit to it. So either they sport themed or the like. So we made a cocktail which was called Game, Set and Match, which we did around the US Open. And again, a little bit of Saint Germain in there, a little bit of actually I think it was Saint, anyway, off the top of my head I can't remember the cocktail, sorry. But so that's what we've tried to do, is we try to tie that concept back into it.
Awesome. And where right now are you located right now on premise, if anywhere so far, or is it mostly just kind of pop-ups for different sporting events?
Yeah, so we're in some of the on-premise stores. We're not broadly distributed at all, otherwise wouldn't be here. But obviously, just so you know, we started in New Zealand and we've come west. So we're in New Zealand, Australia, and a few other countries before we came to the US. But as you know, the US is really the place to be.
Cool, awesome. It's a great product. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it looks like we have time for one more question. Simone, do you have a question for PJ?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. PJ, exquisite product. Could you went so quickly through the botanicals. Would you tell me what those are again? And any thought on how it was Sue that came up with those?
Perfect. So we use juniper, coriander, cardamom, black pepper, almond, and angelica. To be honest, I don't have the answer to that question, but I'll follow up and I'll get that for you.
Perfect. Very nice balance, and you do get hints of some of those more subtle flavors since you dialed back the juniper.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
All right. Well, PJ, thank you so much for kicking us off. And now on to our second competitor. We have Bridget Taylor, founder of Paradin Vodka. Bridget brings a wealth of experience in fashion, retail, and luxury goods, and background as a bakery and hospitality entrepreneur. Well, welcome, Bridget.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and a big congrats to all the other finalists here today. So jumping right into it, what is Harridan and why does Harridan exist? Harridan is an ultra premium, overproof, organic sipping vodka. I founded Harridan while in graduate school in 2020 in the midst of the pandemic. I was one of those people that got really into home bartending during lockdown. Now, my background, as Jonathan mentioned, is luxury retail. I love branding. So the more cocktails that I drank, the more I started to notice that vodka didn't seem to have that same elevated brand positioning or vivid brand storytelling that seems so celebrated and even prevalent in other categories. So I set out to redefine what it could mean to be a luxury vodka. And so fast forward 8 months to December 2020, and Harridan hit shelves in New York City. So now what makes Harridan unique? From a liquid standpoint, at 88 proof, only twice distilled and unfiltered, Harridan holds on to a lot of the flavor of the corn that we make it from. Those flavor notes of citrus, of honeysuckle, of vanilla, they really defy vodka's reputation as a neutral grain spirit. This is a vodka that is meant to be complex and delightfully sippable. And I know all the judges received a sample, so I hope you've either had a chance to try or will have a chance to try how truly distinct this liquid is. Now, from a packaging standpoint, Harridan looks to champion sustainability and artisanship. Every bottle of Harridan is made from recycled glass, resulting in beautiful dynamic texture and bubbles in the raw material. Each bottle of Harridan is hand dipped in black wax, so no two bottles of Harridan are the same. So I've described this liquid that we think is delicious and this packaging that we think is beautiful. What about the brand world? Harridan's brand world is meant to be immersive. The word Harridan means an angry, belligerent woman. This is a bit of a nod that there aren't that many female founders in this space. And then alcohol brands that target women tend to be pink and flowery and low ABV and skinny. And not that there is anything wrong with consumers who enjoy these attributes, of course not. It's just that the female consumer is not a monolith. We can enjoy a range of brand aesthetics and we can enjoy a range of flavor profiles. So Harridan is really meant to be the upside down world of what has come to be expected of a female founded brand. We are dark, we are witchy, we are overproof, and we are decidedly not pink. And with this as our brand platform, we also look to champion gender equity and women's rights in whatever ways that we can. And this includes donating 100% of our merchandise proceeds to women's health organizations. Now, I want to quickly wrap up with an overview of where business is today. Harridan is a rapidly growing brand. We're available in 3 main markets of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. And we also have national reach versus our DTC via our DTC partners at Cask and Barrel. And in our main markets of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, we are seeing equal growth in both the on-prem and the off-prem. And we are looking to turbocharge this growth through relentless boots on the ground efforts, through off-prem tasting initiatives, through trade activations, and through consumer activations. Sorry, my mouth is so dry. And so finally, I would be remiss to not quickly mention our brand exclamation point at the end of each year, which is our limited edition Halloween bottle that we call the Paranormal Reserve. We take spooky season and luxury vodka to new heights by resting a collection of bottles in some of the most haunted locations in America. We have a lot of fun with this one, and we have a very dedicated cult following group of fans who eagerly await this launch each year. So with that, I think my time is up and I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, terrific. Great job, Bridget. Now let's bring back our panel of judges for some Q&A. Ray, why don't you start the questions off?
Sure. So congrats on the Instagram following as well on the brand early on. It's quite impressive. And with that following, how are you going to connect with the consumer and also communicate the premium price positioning that you have on your website? Because it is, from a retail standpoint, the costing will be above and beyond where vodka is traditionally at.
I love this question. Thank you so much for asking it. So at $59, Harridan is squarely in the ultra premium price point or price tier, where it sits with very few other vodkas. But meanwhile, the ultra premium group across whiskey, tequila, and gin are all growing double and triple digits year over year. And this ultra premium consumer is curious. They drink across spirit categories. They don't just drink whiskey. They don't just drink tequila. And so we are looking to really position Harridan as the vodka offering to this curious drinker. And at this point, we have a lot of off-prem tasting data points to back this up. Our most frequent consumer is the person who walks in the store and we ask them to taste vodka and they're like, I hate vodka, no. And then we say, hey, why don't you give this a try? This is a vodka that's really unlike any vodka you've ever tasted. So they come over, they try it and they say, whoa, this actually has a flavor that I love and it doesn't taste like typical vodkas. I don't own a vodka at the moment, so I will buy one for my bar cart.
Okay, awesome. Well, Lacey, what are your thoughts on Harridan Vodka?
I love the brand. I too have a bit of a past in fashion, marketing, and retail, and I love your focus on brand. I was excited to open the package that I received. I love the glass on the bottle, the story, and the a few of the additional items you sent along. So thank you for all of that. Happy to hear that you've been doing some tastings that are successful. What type of I'm trying to ask this eloquently. You have, with your focus on strong women, with a little bit of the paranormal piece to it, what does your point of sale look like? Like, what's your actual visual strategy behind the brand?
Great question. So I would say right now, our visual strategy for our classic bottle is really, investing in what we can do to draw eyes to our beautiful packaging and our beautiful bottle. So we are investing in some neckers that we will be just as luxurious as our label and will have the same level of thoughtfulness as the rest of our packaging. And then we also, in some markets where appropriate, we've invested in shelf talkers as well. And then, so our paranormal reserve is really a totally independent SKU that is, it's $200. It sits in a luxury price tier of its own, but every single person, or I won't say every single person, let's say 90% of the people that bought the Paranormal Reserve, they all did an unboxing on Instagram, tagged us, the engagement was unreal. And so an opportunity for us is to bring that same level of unboxing magic to our classic bottle. And so tying that all together, another thing that we are really investing in this year is gift packaging for our classic bottle, because at our price point, there is such an opportunity to be a special gift, which doesn't really exist that much in the vodka market right now. So making sure that we can come up with that compelling packaging to make people excited to give it to their loved ones.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, time for a quick question from Shell. What do you have for Bridget?
I don't have a question. I do like the fact that it's 2 times distilled. I liked it a lot.
Love it. Thank you. Me too.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks, Bridget. Appreciate it. Next up, we will hear from 2 presenters, Dmitry Efimov and Agata Gotova from Mont Blanc Vodka. Dmitry is the CEO of Alvisa USA and has a 27-year history with the world's leading premium international spirits companies. Agata is a brand ambassador and an award-winning actress and producer. Take it away. I think someone might be on mute.
I think we're good to go.
Oh, there you go. Take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed juries, good afternoon. Actually, it's kind of hard to take the stage after Bridget's beautiful, amazing presentation, but I'll try to do my best. So, I'm speaking about a product that I enjoy myself. This vodka is produced in France, which is a country that's known for its culture, gourmet cuisine, and fine spirits. Mont Blanc vodka is created from Picardy wheat from northern France and pristine, pure water from Alps, which requires very little filtration. It's distilled 5 times, never mass produced. This is a very special point in Mont Blanc vodka because it's produced in small batches. It's a boutique product and it was conceived as such. So it's this distilled in cognac in small batches under personal supervision of our cellar master, Alain Vincent. Because it's made out of pristine Alps water, it acquires amazing, velvety, smooth taste. So the bottle is a statement of its own and is a work of art, as you can see, just like the liquid inside. And of course, Mont Blanc vodka was noted by prestigious spirits competitions. San Francisco World Spirit Competition, double gold. New York World Spirit Competition, double gold. Beverage Tasting Institute, gold. And USA Spirits Ratings, gold. So I must add on a personal note that this exquisite product is very soft, tender, but strong as well. Many enjoy vodka in cocktails, but I personally love its unique quality and purity and its taste. Anything else we shall add?
Sure. All I can add is, just like Agata said, in order to appreciate the smoothness and the real quality of vodka, you've got to have it straight. So in my personal experience, when you take a shot of vodka, and if you have the urge to drink something or to eat something real quick afterwards, then probably it's not 100% smooth and easy drinking. After you have a shot of Mont Blanc, you don't need anything else. It's wonderful, it's smooth, it goes down naturally. And I think we can conclude our little presentation and move to questions from the judges.
Okay, great job, guys. I have also been told that I am soft, tender, and strong. Well, let's bring back our panel of judges for some Q&A here. Why don't we start with Ray this time? What are your thoughts, Ray?
Quite an interesting proposition. As far as competitive set, who do you see as your competitive set for the brand, and how are you going to position it from a price point standpoint?
Ray, well, let's start with a simple. From the price standpoint, 750 bottle is priced at $24.99. 1 liter goes between $27.99, $29.99, and half gallon goes for $39.99. In terms of competitive set, of course, it's diverse because, you know, there is a wealth of great product, French vodkas on the market. The way we separate ourselves from most of them is the fact that it's a really small batch product. It has never been mass produced. It's distilled in small batches. It has nice but limited distribution around the world. We're present just in a few countries. We're actually present in Australia. We're present in Israel. We're present in a few European countries. Now we are working with the US market. But again, it's we never see ourselves as a multi-million cases brand. We take a pride in this artisanship. So that kind of makes us more of a relative of those artisan vodkas on the market versus the mass-produced ones.
Mr. Doug Nixon with a beautiful bar in the background there. What do you have? What are your thoughts?
So Ray had a great question about, obviously from wholesale aspect is the price point. You know, but I do have to give you kudos on the package. It's one that, you know, we'd like to see that pops off the shelf, and it also pops off the back bar. So congrats on that. My question is, you know, obviously in an ever-growing category, in an oversaturated ultra-premium category, you discussed the differentiation between your product and other products. Something extremely popular and extremely important to our industry is the social media aspect. What are your social media and digital, I guess, strategies moving forward into the United States?
Doug, thank you for that question. We are in the beginning of that long way. We initiated our Instagram presence with a wonderful event here in Miami. We, as a part of Art Basel, there was a presentation of a 10-year anniversary of one of the largest European art galleries. So we were part of that celebration, and we kicked off our Instagram with reports from that event. And so from now on, we intend to be very active in the Instagram space. I'm personally not quite advanced as for things like TikTok, but maybe I'll get there someday. But company believes in social media. Our partners in the countries I mentioned, like Australia, Israel, Spain, they run their own social media project. And we plan to invest and we plan to pay attention to this mechanism, to this source of promotion.
Second quick question. Are you in association with Montblanc, the luxury goods company, at all?
No, no. We enjoy a friendly relationship with them, but we're not related in any shape or form.
Okay, time for a last real quick question. Alexa, what are your thoughts?
Absolutely. You know, I know we've talked a little bit about differentiating as the brand differentiates itself just by its visual appearance. How do you plan to differentiate yourself from other French vodkas, and what is your target demographic?
You know, Alexa, in terms of the demographic, although it's diverse, we obviously target mostly population of big cities, people who appreciate the beauty and the quality, people who look more for artisan small batch products versus mass produced. Company is very innovative. It first introduced the regular vodka product. Then there was a botanical line with grapefruit and rose and cucumber and mint. Later this year, we are going to introduce French corn gluten-free. So between innovation, visual beauty, and kind of craftsmanship, handmade kind of approach, we see our differentiation from many of our well-regarded competitors.
Well, that's all we have time for. Dimitri, Agata, thank you. We are halfway through our brands who are presenting today. I hope you are all enjoying hearing from them and the amazing feedback from our judges. Next up, we have Alexandros Kehedikis from Botanicon Gin. Alexandros is the US market manager for DS Concepts with a decade of bartending experience at some of the country's top restaurants. He also won the national cocktail competition twice. Alexandros, let's hear from you.
Hi, my name is Alexandros, as you said. My background is actually, I'm gonna take it a little bit like a go straight dive in, is mostly behind the bar. So I started when I was 18, when I was starting like marketing, and soon enough, I found myself utilizing my bachelor's, and I represented several brands. And it always encouraged me while I was in Greece that there was no actual representation, even at the bars, about Greek brands. And that's when I started a little bit advocating about Greece and about the terroir and about what exactly, about everything that we now see thriving. So sooner than later, I found myself being part of the family of 3 Greek brands. And I'm going to be talking about one today, Botanicon Gin. We launched 6 months ago. But what is Botanicon Gin? So essentially, Botanicon Gin is a gin from the ground up. What it's meant to do is it's meant to celebrate the terroir of Greece. Everything that Greece has to offer that is in top quality. The procedures that we talk in the distillation process is actually qualifies it as a London Dry style gin. But everything we use is 100% from Greece. We're talking about juniper being from northern or indigenous mountain teas like the Sideritis from the Olympus mountain, like the Dictamon from my hometown in Crete, like one of the most aromatic and most complex saffron varieties called Krokos, Kozanis, again from northern Greece. We're talking from Naxos, the lemon bulb. And this is exactly what we were meant to do. We wanted to have the London Dry Gin with a 100% Greek character. We see right now that that Greece is getting a big resurge in like everything into the Greek, of course, the Greek summer and the Greek islands, but as well in the Greek gastronomy and additional to the Greek wines. But we haven't yet seen the Greek spirits and the distillation and the beauty behind it and the passion and the meraki, as it's called in Greek. We haven't been seen representing, and that's what has led us to create that. I'm actually one of the members that shared that, sat down over a year and a half with our master distiller in Athens, discussing about the recipe and discussing about giving it in a very saturated category, giving it a really distinct character so that it's something that can stand out while at the same time it can remain true to what already bartenders like myself know and would like to experience from. We see even from the bottle, everything has been meant to remind us a little bit of Greece, remind us a little bit of the terroir, a little bit of the soils, and also all of we didn't want to compromise anything in terms of the quality. So even from the bottle and even from the price point, we wanted to remain into a realm that you can actually experiment with it, that you can actually grab it in your hands, that you can actually get the long body. A little bit about the taste is of course it starts juniper forward. It is a juniper forward gin that actually kind of like gives you all the citrus elements like the lemon bulb and the oranges that we have used. And then it goes towards the peppery notes from the teas and the complexity of the saffron to the basil and oregano. And it finishes with mastica. Mastica is like one of the unique ingredients in Greece. We actually have the second largest brand coming out of from Greece, Skinos Mastica Spirit, dedicated to that ingredient, single ingredient, that is going to give Botanicon the long aftertaste and a fuller body while it doesn't have any whatsoever contents of sugar. Of course, as well, the neutral grain spirit that we're using is made out of beets. So we see that like 100% Greek, like myself, like my last name. And I'm going to leave it up to you to decide. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alexandros. Now let's bring back our panel of judges for a bit of Q&A. Simone, why don't you kick off our questions this round?
Thank you. Really interesting gin and a lot of interesting flavors going on there. You came from the on-premise. You have a bartending background. What is your preference? How do you drink this?
So when we were tasting it, because Europe especially is so big into that, we were always tasting as a gin and tonic. That's the #1 gin right now coming out of Europe. That's what has led us. So all of our tests have been run on a gin and tonic. Of course, we later on, when we started to finalize the recipe, we went into all the classic cocktails and how the gin interacts and how the differentiations in the body is gonna give a different character on a classic drink. And yes, that's pretty much how we like wanted and we positioned the gin from the beginning. And we actually did a huge non-affiliated, non-brand affiliated research with a government funded company that covered specialists and experts. And they found out that in a gin and tonic, Greece had Botanicon has had 75% in preference, which is a significant amount of anonymous gins.
Shell, what are your thoughts?
I enjoyed it, and it's been a minute since I've been to Greece, but I don't always think of Greece and gin in the same sentence. So why gin? Is it because you felt like the botanicals were the best way to highlight the Greece terroir?
Actually, it's a combination of both. I've been seeing lately, and I've been pitching into the owner that we see the gin breaking the boundaries of London and going into being represented and representing countries. So we wanted to have something that is gonna celebrate, exactly as you said, the terroir. The terroir is in Greece is one of the most celebrated because of the climate, because of the volcanic soils, and in general, it has been if we take it specifically, we're getting more and more and more attention. And that's why even the whole cuisine has been less is more. The Mediterranean culture comes directly from the terroir. And we want to celebrate all the indigenous ingredients and botanicals and put them creating a gin 100% from Greece.
Thank you.
I think we have time for one quick question. Mr. Ray Lombard, any thoughts, feelings?
How are you going to get how are you going to connect with the consumer? As distributors, we're do a very good job at getting brands into the back bars, onto the shelves, and so forth. But how are you going to have that connection with the consumer? What are some of the marketing vehicles that you're going to use to differentiate yourself within the gin category?
So within the gin category, what we're trying to do is exactly our noble cause. And one of the reasons why I've decided to leave, to come and follow these brands into the United States is we want to make sure that we get Greece represented, that we get all the quality on top. The tools that we're going to utilize is that we're fully investing, we're fully active as a suppliers, and as like with from the distributor side, we fully invest in incentives. We have our own like tasting agency that we've been doing consumer tastings nationwide. We actually got nationwide registration with Total Wine within the second week of launching into in the US 6 months ago. And we just want to make sure that by educating about our whole portfolio of spirits and showing, we will try to have a complete offer of Greek spirits.
Thank you, Alexandros. Now on to our fifth and final contender, Paolo Dalla Mora with Engine Gin. An entrepreneur in the fashion and spirits industries, Paolo not only founded Engine SRL, he also founded Campamac Gourmet Tavern in Barbaresco, Italy. Paolo, please tell us about your brand.
Okay, Javier. Hi. Okay, here I am. Can you hear me?
You are good.
Okay, thank you very much. So, ciao, good evening from Italy. First of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to present my brand and my story. And then good evening to all the judges. So what is engine? Of course, it's a gin, but let's start from the payoff, fuel the dream. So try to imagine my dreams, the dream that I had when I was a child. Imagine a little Paolo, a mini me, 8 years old, during the 80s, born and raised in a rural village in the northeast of Italy, near Venice, in a village of 1,000 people in the Shire. So with few friends, and most of them coming from the United States. I'm gonna introduce them. So we have some friends from the away, and then some Canada, some friends from California, friends from Miami, you know, and then the one that gave me, most in terms of engines, the Duke of Hazard, so jumpers and bigger cars. So you will recognize the 01 later on. So guys, if you ask to a guy in Italy, born and raised on the 80s, he will tell you that this is the American dream. So everyone was having the American dream in the 80s. What happened after the small village? So I started to build my dream. So with big wishes and a big revolution and the idea to conquer the world. So that I had the chance to work in several multinational companies. So I started in fast moving consumer goods. And then, I moved both in a British, Italian, and American multinational company. Then I moved in spirits. And then my last part of my career as an executive was in fashion. I traveled all around the world as a globetrotter. So I went to China. I worked a lot building wine companies in China, fashion, and then spirits in the United States, United Kingdom. And then, after 20 years, I decided, to run for myself, focus just on my passion. Of course, racing, agriculture, spirits, and then marketing and design. So I have decided to move in a small village on 2015, in a village called Barbaresco. So I've done a downgrade versus my birthplace. So 1,000 inhabitants, my birthplace, and Barbaresco is a village of 600 inhabitants. But believe me, 100 of them are wine producers. So I'm thinking that Barbaresco, you will see my village here. Barbaresco is the best in terms of agriculture. So it's very famous for Nebbiolo grapes that are titled Barbaresco in my village, and then Barolo just in the village in front of us. Of course, it's famous for white truffle from Alba, and then it's titled UNESCO World Heritage. Here I have my family, so I moved my family, from Milano here, and then I have my wife, my 2 daughters, and here is where I've decided to create my 3rd son, that is this baby, what. So engine is like my life, is a rhetorical device. So it's the opposition of 2 things. It's the opposite between an irreverent packaging, aluminum, sustainable, really beauty, but dirty, coming from the motor oil heritage, and then the most genuine liquid inside. I decided to kick off the project of 2019, focusing on botanicals. So I started from ancient recipe from Lange grandmothers, a rosolio called sage and lemon. Allow me to do the weatherman. So this is Piedmont, so northwest part of Italy. The village of Barbaresco is here. We harvest our sage in Piedmont during summer. Then we have rose that are coming from the same area. Then it's a journey from north to south. We move in Sicily when we have our lemons. Then licorice just in the region in front of Piedmont called Calabria. Then juniper in Tuscany near Florence. And then we go back to the Alps for the Alpine water. So it's really a journey from north to south of Italy. Everything is organic, certified organic, patented bottle. So I'm really proud of this. The only thing, so everything is sourced from Italy, packaging, race, botanicals. The only thing that is not Italian, I love to say we are using a fantastic Ferrari to do the distillation, but our distillery is a Rolls-Royce. So we have a copper John Doe coming from the United Kingdom. What I have to say, so I started the distillation in a small garage, and then right now we distill in a day what we were able to distill in a month 4 years ago when we kicked it off. Packaging helps, but of course, in terms of what makes me really proud is the fact that we have the liquid always, judged in the awards as a, A-list liquid, and so it's a good balance between my passion, and I'm thinking that I have been able to create a good marketing mix between packaging, liquid, and as well as communication. So that's my dream, squeeze it in 4 minutes. So if you want to have a testing session with me, or if you want to ask me further questions, so I'm here for you guys. Thank you.
Okay, grazie mille, Paolo.
Grazie.
Now let's bring back our panel of judges for a bit more Q&A. Lacey, why don't we start with you?
Hi. Thank you for that great presentation. I love the packaging. It's super unique. I'm curious about what other brands you view as your direct competition, and how does the placement and flavor profile compare?
So of course, I see an engine, of course, playing with a flavored gin, and then there is this big trend because of you have seen on my last chart previously that we are being compared with a big monster of the market, but they are, straight gin. I'm thinking that there is now a future, especially is happening in Italy and then United Kingdom, and we assume that also United States and Australia will have the same, the same story. Flavored gins. So I see a big also source of volume coming, from a different target, not only the male target, but my gin is also well perceived also for the female target. So a target that was not drinking gin till now.
Great. I have actually one other question, and I'm sorry to be a little presumptuous to ask too, but your package is different than a normal glass bottle, and I'm wondering if you've had any feedback or if how that changes the flavor at all after it sits in the bottle for any amount of time.
No, I'm obsessed about tests. So we tasted the bottle. We have done tasting on the oven until 6 years, and so so we patented the coating and never changed after 6 years. So, and then is also the fact that our pack, is aluminum, so it covers and preserves from light spirits. So also this is the reason why wines are having a brown or a black bottle.
Great.
Lacey, you would never be presumptuous, Lacey, please. Let's move on to Doug. You have a question?
Yes, I do. And again, liquid in a bottle. The gin is fantastic. But we're going to stay on the package, and it is extremely unique. And we see, as a distributor, we see tons and tons of innovation and emerging brands all the time. Has there been any feedback from the on-premise where brands are built on the package itself? Has there been any types of challenges, on a back bar, pouring, things like that we can talk through?
So the packaging, the fact is that on-premise at the beginning was especially in Europe, we have seen that they were a bit scared about the fact that it was just a marketing gimmick. Then with tasting, when they taste the product, they say, "Oh my God, there is a fantastic liquid inside." And so they will appreciate a lot. In terms of visibility steps, a lot, both in on-premise, and then we have a great ground on the off-premise now because of the consumer love the package. And then this is also an help because of without having massive investment still on advertising. So the consumer recognize the product, they say, "Hey, I want to try that one." And then the reason to believe is the fact that the liquid is super good. What we're doing in the United States right now, we have a big plan. So we are hiring a brand ambassador, a national brand ambassador based in Miami, but he will travel around the States, and is Italian. And then, of course, we have also the chance to have area managers and market activator in order to explain. But what really gives us a benefit is the fact that the tasting wins always. I don't know if I partially answered to your question.
Yes, and we'll quickly round out our Q&A here with Alexa.
Great product. I've actually seen it before on premise, so I'm gonna direct my question to at-home consumption. And how are you looking to apply your products into cocktails that people are making at home? The website is great, very interactive. Are you hoping to kind of leverage off of your different socials and your online presence for that, or what are you thinking?
So of course, we are really active. We are really active on Instagram and on socials, and then we are working a lot. We have our press office in New York that is taking care of our cocktail strategy, and then we are focused on three main cocktails. So GT as gin and tonic, then Negroni, because of Negroni is the most popular now, and then of course the martini straight from the cooler that we developed this recipe with Salvatore Calabrese from the Donovan Bar in London, and then if you place an engine can in the cooler in the freezer, and then you take out a martini cup frozen, then you go straight on the cooler. This is the best way to enjoy a martini. So, and then we will go ahead with PR and communication in order to educate our final consumer. Same is happening with tasting in store. So the idea is that we are having, as I was telling Doug Nixon, a very good ground on the off-premise, and so I'm thinking that we should pass through the palate of our consumers.
Okay, thank you, Paolo, and thank you to all of our editors and judges. Now we will send our judges to do the difficult task of deliberating on this category winner, who will move on to the championship round live on stage at Access Live on April 3rd. Hope you'll be there in Orlando, Florida. While our judges are deliberating, we're going to share some important and relevant category information from our partners at SipSource. Details about Access Craft and Access Live. Don't go anywhere.
Aloha, everyone. We're excited for you to join us at the WSWA's Access Live in Orlando this April and to celebrate the wine and spirits industry. We hope you'll join me and Blaine in April. We're excited to launch our handcrafted vodka melee, a sustainable brand built with our planet in mind and made of the purest natural ingredients from Montana. Okay, aloha. See you soon.
What? Jason Momoa. Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Well, thank you so very much to all of our competitors and judges. Now we will, well, we will see who has won. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you've got some great info. As our judges, we're determining today's winner of the Vodka Gin Brand Battle Tournament, who will proceed to the Brand Battle Championship in Orlando, live on stage at Access Live. Today's Vodka Gin category winner is, I'm trying to do a drum roll on the table that I have here. It is Harridan Vodka. Hey.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh my God, this is so exciting. I'm speechless.
A really big, absolutely, a big congratulations to you on your win. Your award will be mailed to you in the next few weeks. I would like to thank all of our contenders who participated today. All of their information can be found online on our website. The link has been placed in the chat box. Harridan, someone from WSWA will be contacting you in the next few minutes to discuss next steps. Oh my gosh, Harridan Vodka, amazing. Well, we look forward to seeing you at our next tournament this Thursday, February 9th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard for the Tequila Tournament. Thanks so much, everyone. See you at Access Live. I'll be there. Cheers.